Imagine standing on Earth on a night with absolutely no lights. Above you, the sky opens like an endless ocean of stars. Hundreds of billions of them. A faint river of light stretches across the sky. It is the Milky Way, our galaxy. And right at the center of this enormous structure, there is a monster, an object 4 million times more massive than the Sun. It is not a planet, not a star, not anything familiar. It is a supermassive black hole. Its name is Sagittarius A star. If you look at many other galaxies in the universe, the monsters at their centers are usually incredibly violent. They devour matter furiously and shine so brightly that they can outshine the entire galaxy around them. These colossal energy engines are called quasars, cosmic lighthouses visible from billions of light years away. But the monster at the center of our own galaxy is almost completely silent. No gigantic jets of plasma, no raging storms of energy. Just a quiet, dark region in space, like a massive lion sleeping in the middle of a forest of hundreds of billions of stars. And that is exactly what puzzles scientists. Why would a black hole this large be so strangely calm? And what would happen if one day it stopped being silent? For a long time, astronomers couldn't look directly into the center of the Milky Way. Between us and that region lies thousands of light years of dense cosmic dust. It's like trying to see through a massive sandstorm in space. But science has another way of discovering invisible things. Instead of looking at them directly, we observe the objects being affected by them. And in the center of the galaxy, those objects are stars. When powerful infrared telescopes began monitoring this region over many years, astronomers noticed something strange. Some stars near the galactic center were not moving slowly like most others. They were racing through space at terrifying speeds, thousands of kilometers per second. And their paths were not random. Every one of them was orbiting the same dark point in space. One of the most famous stars in this region is called the S2. This star completes a full orbit around the central black hole in only about 16 years. But the truly astonishing moment comes when it gets closest to the black hole. At that point, S2 tears through space at nearly 3% of the speed of light. To put that into perspective, if our solar system were placed there, S2's orbit would still be smaller than the orbit of Neptune around the Sun. Only an object with enormous mass compressed into an extremely tiny region of space could produce gravity that strong. For years, the motion of these stars convinced scientists that a supermassive black hole must exist at the center of the galaxy. But no one had ever actually seen it. That changed in 2022, when a global network of telescopes worked together to form a virtual observatory, the size of Earth itself. The project is called the Event Horizon Telescope. After years of processing data, the team revealed a historic image. For the first time in human history, we saw the shadow of Sagittarius A star, a faint ring of light surrounding a region of absolute darkness. But that very image made the story even stranger. While similar black holes in other galaxies are devouring matter furiously and shining like cosmic lighthouses, Sagittarius A star emits only a faint trickle of radiation. It's like a gigantic engine running with almost no fuel. To understand why, we need to look at how the most violent black holes in the universe actually work. When a black hole has enough surrounding material, it begins to feed. But this process doesn't happen the way you might imagine. Matter does not fall straight into the black hole immediately. Instead, it spirals around it, like water rushing into the mouth of a whirlpool, forming a brilliantly glowing structure called an accretion disk. Inside this disk, gas and dust are compressed and rub violently against each other until temperatures can reach millions of degrees. At that point, they release enormous amounts of energy in the form of X-rays and powerful radiation. Strangely, most of this energy does not come from inside the black hole itself, but from the matter being shredded and heated just before it falls in. The result is that the entire center of a galaxy can blaze like a cosmic torch. When this phenomenon reaches its extreme, we call it a quasar. Quasars are among the brightest objects in the universe. A typical quasar can shine up to 1,000 times brighter than the entire Milky Way. This is why, even from billions of light-years away, telescopes can still detect them clearly, almost like nearby stars. Some quasars also launch gigantic jets of plasma that stretch for thousands of light-years, piercing through their galaxies, like colossal spears of energy. With a mass of about 4 million suns, the black hole Sagittarius A star should theoretically be capable of doing the same thing. It has the potential to become a massive energy engine capable of lighting up the entire center of the Milky Way. But in reality, it does not. The center of our galaxy is far darker than the centers of actively feeding galaxies. And then astronomers discovered a strange clue. A gigantic structure stretching tens of thousands of light-years above and below the Milky Way. As if sometime in the distant past, this monster had already awakened. In 2010, while observing the sky with the Fermi Gamma Ray Space Telescope, scientists discovered two enormous structures rising from the center of the Milky Way. They stretch tens of thousands of light-years above and below the galactic plane, like two gigantic bubbles of energy inflating into space. These structures are known as the Fermi bubbles, and their size is almost impossible to imagine. To put it in perspective, the bright disk of the Milky Way is about 100,000 light-years across. That means these structures extend to nearly half the width of the galaxy, but vertically. They are thousands of times larger than the distance between the Sun and the nearest star, Alpha Centauri. They look like two colossal plumes of smoke rising from the galactic center, the lingering scar of some ancient explosion. But what could possibly create something that large? Astronomers began running simulations of different scenarios. Gradually, one hypothesis started to stand out. A few million years ago, Sagittarius A star may have gone through a violent active phase. During that time, enormous amounts of gas and dust could have fallen toward the center of the galaxy. The black hole began feeding, and as it fed, it blasted tremendous streams of energy outward from the galactic core. Those outflows may have inflated the gigantic bubbles we see today. In other words, the center of the Milky Way may once have shone like a quasar. Not billions of years ago, but perhaps only a few million years ago, a very short moment in cosmic history. If that is true, then Sagittarius A star is not a monster that has always been asleep. It's more like a cosmic volcano, quiet most of the time, but capable of erupting with incredible violence. And that leads to an even more unsettling question. If it has awakened before, what is stopping it from waking up again? The answer might be simpler than we think. Because even a monster is only powerful when it has something to feed on. A black hole can only become truly violent when enough matter falls into it. The center of the Milky Way is actually not as rich in material as many people imagine. Although there are many stars there, most of the gas and dust in the galaxy are spread across much more distant regions. As a result, the amount of matter falling into the central black hole is extremely small. Astronomers estimate that Sagittarius A star consumes only about the mass of a small asteroid each year, an amount so tiny that, on cosmic scales, it is almost nothing. Meanwhile, many other galaxies have gone through massive collisions that funnel huge amounts of gas and dust toward their centers. These cosmic crashes can feed their central black holes, turning them into extremely active engines. But our galaxy has been relatively calm for billions of years. There are no massive streams of matter pouring into the black hole, no cosmic feast large enough to awaken the monster. But that doesn't mean it will sleep forever. Our galaxy is still moving through the universe. Giant clouds of gas continue to drift through space, and in the distant future, a sufficiently large event, perhaps a massive gas cloud, or even a galactic collision, could provide exactly what Sagittarius A star is missing. And if that happens, the center of the Milky Way may no longer remain silent. Yet here lies the paradox. The very silence of this monster may be the only reason life had the chance to develop in our galaxy. And that is one of the strange miracles of the universe. We often fear the dark. We imagine monsters hiding within it. But after traveling, in a sense, 26,000 light-years to understand Sagittarius A star, we arrive at a strange realization. Its silence is actually a gift. If the Milky Way did not have a sleeping giant like Sagittarius A star at its center, if instead it hosted a blazing quasar, life might never have had the chance to begin. The deadly radiation from such an active core could have sterilized vast regions of the galaxy, frying fragile chemical beginnings long before they could become living organisms. The fact that we exist, that we can breathe, think, and wonder about the universe may be possible only because this monster is choosing not to feed. The universe is not only a place of terrifying forces, it is also a place of astonishing coincidences. Moments where conditions align just well enough for something extraordinary to happen. Sagittarius A star still sits there, silent at the heart of the galaxy, like a quiet reminder that, in this vast universe, peace can sometimes be more remarkable than the most violent explosions imaginable.